and Mason podcast.
Podcast.
A little
Hey.
late. All
It sounded
right.
good to me. I don't know if it's going to sound good on their end, but.
Yeah, maybe that was my delay.
Right, the delay of the delay. No, it sounded perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. It was perfect. Gaslighting isn't real. You're just crazy, okay?
Oh, okay.
So, what's today's topic?
Well, today we're gonna be doing a classic podcast topic, getting high.
Uh oh.
We're gonna be getting high with stylites, steeplejacks, and pole sitters.
Oh, so specifically getting high on the job. Uh
Getting
oh.
high on the job and recreationally.
Oh, okay. And record. Okay.
You know what? I mean, it's when you love your job, you never really work a day.
Yeah, I've heard that. So, what's a stylite, by the way?
Well, great topic. We're actually going to go into this with a character study,
Okay.
and we're just going to go with the OG Simon the Stylite.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah,
Simon the
I
Style. Because
want.
I've heard of a steeplejack. That that sounds familiar. And
Hmm.
pole sitter, I can kinda, think I can kinda
What do you,
surmise pole
I mean, you
sitter,
can
I
go ahead and
guess.
spoil it. What do you think a pole sitter is?
That's someone who goes down a fireman's pole and then makes sure it doesn't go anywhere, right? At the bottom, it's not attached.
Uh,
He
Not
like
quite.
babysits
No.
it.
Yeah. No. No. Not quite.
What? Oh, okay. Well, then what?
It,
Oh, okay. Well,
you know, you may just have to wait for the surprise.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Well,
we'll
I definitely
start
know
our
what a steeplejack is, though. That's a jack for your steeple in case it gets low on one side. You can jack it up.
Yeah, well, actually, you're not far off on that one. A
Oh, okay.
steeplejack is a steeplejack is someone that repairs steeples
Oh,
or weather
okay.
vanes. Generally, if you got a high pointy building and you need somebody to fix something up there, you need somebody willing to climb up there, and that's a steeplejack.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, they do work on chimneys too, right?
Yes,
Okay,
pretty
yeah.
pretty much any high altitude. Um,
That is the
but
one only thing I knew about. I was like, I think they work on chimneys, and that is the extent of my knowledge. I didn't know that it
well,
was
no.
obfuscated to all things high.
Yeah, pretty much all things high.
They just
You
love
just
getting
have to be a
high.
certain breed. I really think that it takes a certain type of person. And we're going to start with talking about Simon the Stylite.
Okay.
And I know what your first thought is. Wait, do you mean Simon the Stylite? Simon the Stylite the younger? Simon the Stylite the third? Or Simon the Stylite of Lesbos? Which
Of
one?
Lesbos?
You know the island of
Of
Lesbos.
Lesbos? I thought, is that where Wonder Woman's from?
I canonically think it actually may be.
That's hilarious.
You,
I can't remember what the Wonder Woman's island's called now.
I think it's the mascara.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was thinking like Mysteria, something like
But
that.
so let
So we pulling up the
spill.
pictures? We going picture
Yeah, go
time?
ahead. Go ahead.
Hitting them. Oh snap! Simon the
So
Stylite.
this is Steinman the
He
Stylite.
does look pretty high right there.
I mean, you know, that's a pretty great image right there. And what are we looking at? Describe it to me.
All right, so immediately what I think of is a couple episodes when I told you about that guy who just built a tower in the middle of the town. So he's like, look how cool I am! Look at all these people on the ground. I have so much. I love my faith so much that I'm gonna stay in this thing and disown all my worldly possessions. And they're all
Yeah.
like, no, you gotta come down. You gotta come down. There's mass on Sunday. And the angel's like, you're doing a really good job up there, Simon. You're killing it,
Yeah.
bro. But
Yeah.
what's up with the dead body down here? Is that a doobie? Or is that the dead person? What the heck? I don't understand
Yeah.
what the dead guy's
No
doing
clue.
in the middle. All the rest of it,
No.
I kind of see the symbolization and stuff. Kind of, but then this guy's like on these mountaintops that kind of look like buildings too. Like this whole structure down here is confusing to me. It looks like it was like added on later. Like there was like a penis down here that they had to hide up, like a naked
Well,
baby.
so
They're
yeah,
like, no, we're gonna put a
I don't.
mountain and a dead body over that.
Yeah, the candy cane wrap on it is a little confusing, but I believe it's tents, and you see that kind of reflected in the light,
Oh, okay.
kind of trippy tents.
Hmm. Okay, I see that. I see that.
So, the story of Simon, around 16 years old, he entered his first monastery. So, and I believe this is in kind of Syria, Palestine area. So 16 enters his first monastery, and within about a month of being there, the others say, "Hey, you're a little too hardcore. We are in the middle of the barren desert, and we are monks dedicated to living a sober life with no luxuries, and you're taking this way too far, kid."
Oh, so it really
So
was
he gets kicked out of the monastery, um, and what
because he
makes
was too
him what
faithful.
establishes his name. He was I don't think it was too faithful. I think it was too much.
Okay, taking it too
Um,
far.
he's taken it too far. So after this, in a short span, he gets famous because he fasts for a year. And during Lent, he goes without food or water for 40 days, which it's not technically possible to live 40
Yeah,
days without water, but that's why it's a miracle.
not this guy.
Not Simon. He's just built different, you know?
Yeah.
So after this, he starts getting a little bit of a reputation, and he moves to a tiny little cave about 20 square feet, just
Mhm.
a long little narrow rock outcropping. And things are going pretty good for a while. You know, these ascetic monks, they do it for the aesthetic. Um, they live in fairly poor places, but it's not like they're necessarily living out in the middle of nowhere. It's like living 15 minutes out of town in a cave,
Oh,
you know.
right.
Yeah, they're out there, but it's not the wilderness.
Right.
Uh, and they have people that come to them that ask for, advice, wisdom, prayers, and they give them food.
Yeah.
Uh, this really annoys Simon. Simon's
Okay.
tired of all these visitors. Um, so he's living on the outskirts of town, and he goes and he says, "I'm so tired of people bothering me.
Hmm.
I'm going to go find somewhere that I can be alone." So he finds these old ruins and he climbs up on a pillar
Oh,
and he
yes.
stands for extended periods of time. And so one of the descriptions was he was known for standing with his forehead to his feet,
Hmm.
which I can only imagine is like, reaching over to try and touch your toes, but completely reaching over.
Yeah, with like your legs locked is what I'm thinking too.
Yes.
He's like he'd like
Yes, just
sleep
like
like that.
the most bowed.
Right.
And so this was what he would do is he would stand or hold these positions for hours or days at a time, standing on top of this monolith.
Just so he didn't have to talk to people.
I really think it's just so he didn't have to talk to people. It's such a narrow scope of people that do this. They get very famous and they're regarded as very holy. But I can't help but to think that this is some type of, I don't want to diagnose somebody from thousands of years ago, but like I feel like it's like an OCD thing or a mental issue of like, you know, I cannot stand people. What makes me feel better is standing in the certain position for hours on it.
Yeah.
Um, and so eventually people start hanging out around his pillars. And at
Oh,
first he hates it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so and there's a mix too of like,
That's hilarious.
there's the people that come and be like, "Oh, wow, you're on a pillar. Hey, grant me a blessing. Here's a
Yeah.
loaf of bread." And then there's some people that are like, "This guy's on to something. I don't know what it is, but everybody else, crazy. This guy standing on a pillar for 3 days straight has got it figured out.
Yeah.
And I'm not leaving until he teaches me."
Huh.
So go ahead and pull up the next
I
picture.
think he's like a Zen master.
So it's interesting. This does not really spread outside of like that Middle East, Near East area. This is like Syria, Palestine, um, I think some in Lebanon.
Hmm.
But this is actually from the time that he was doing this in like the 6th century.
Yeah.
Up top, it's an abalone shell that's like symbolizing purity,
Hmm.
and the snake is wrapping up around him. It's temptation.
Gotcha.
But if you notice, he's got a little basket up there.
Yeah.
So at the very first, he was just standing on an old pillar. But as time went on, he moved around to different pillars, and he'd also started building extra little platforms on top.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. That's what
And
that is too.
so and you can see the stairs too. It's not like he's hand scaling the pillar.
Right.
What's really interesting is so this didn't really catch on anywhere else, except that there was one priest in Germany who got really into this and stayed up on a pillar for like 3 years.
Hmm. And he was
Um,
inspired by this guy.
Inspired by this guy.
Did he
And
see him directly,
eventually
do you know? Or did he just see a
oh,
picture of him doing it and he's like, wow, this guy's onto something?
he heard about it and was like, "This guy's onto something." But what I think is really funny too is so he did it for like 3 years, and then I think eventually, like a higher ranking church official was like, "Hey, cut it out."
Oh, yeah, you're making us look
And he
bad?
just, yeah, it's like, man, this is weird. We don't do this.
Yeah.
So, so he eventually, like 3 years later, he stopped.
Yeah.
And I mean, I couldn't spend 3 years on a pillar, but I can't help but feel like, man, you weren't really about the pillar life.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just such a weird thing, too. I don't know. Feels like you're
So
like wanting attention, but you're like, no, I don't want attention. But you're putting yourself on a pillar.
you're literally on a pillar, sir.
Like, do you not
So,
see the anecdote in that? Like, you're an
and
oxymoron.
real quick, so churches aren't built overnight. It gets built much later on and added on.
Oh, your
Pull up
mic's
that
cutting
third
out a little
picture.
bit. Make sure you keep it in front.
All right, go ahead and pull up that third picture.
Okay. I was gonna say I couldn't hear the.
So these are the remains of the church of Simon the Stylite,
Oh, huh. That
which
he got a whole church dedicated to him, or he built it, or what?
I'm pretty certain that he built it.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So I mean, apparently styling is a money-making business.
Right. Where was he
You
keeping
know,
all of
it-
his money?
so his sister was a nun, I believe.
Huh.
And I think she kind of handled the money, but I don't know, man. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me that that was a profitable enterprise. And of course, this is donation. You know, he's
Yeah.
just using the donations, but it at the same time, like that's impressive. That's still
So
standing
so does
after
that
like
mean did he come
1,500 years.
down and was like a preacher in there or anything or?
So, so like I was saying, he had crowds that started gathering around his pillar, and eventually he decided to start taking on pupils and disciples.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He's like, "Nah, for 6 easy payments of 9.99, you too can learn the secrets of standing on pillars, guys, okay? Accepting all new students now."
yeah, and so
Only requirement is you have to be able to lock your knees, okay? You can do that, you're
you gotta
good.
lock the knees. And so all told, he ended up staying on the pillar somewhere between 35 and 40 years.
Dang. Okay, now that guy is about the pillar life. You can't tell him
Yeah,
nothing. That's
yeah.
dedication.
And he would get down occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
He would like move pillars and he would go he would do certain priest stuff, like he went to visit prisoners in jail,
Okay.
like raise their spirits. It's a very old school Christian thing when Christians were arrested in Rome.
When praise them and or give them a blessing and all that stuff.
Yeah, it meant a lot to the guys.
Oh, I looked up, by the way, one of the common hand gestures that you see Jesus in a lot of the paintings where he does like his hand like this. That is supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like
you
a
see that all.
signification of him granting blessings to the people. Because normally he's doing that and it's like, has like a big piece on the ceiling and it's supposed to be as like a symbol to bless the congregation that's there.
Oh, very neat.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I looked up a little imagery and some of the backing on some of it. Because a
Like
lot of it too,
like an old
and a lot of
school
the
religious
Jesus.
people saying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's weird because in all these old pictures, I kept seeing all these weird symbols around the cross, and there's like all these conspiracy theories about it and stuff. But like
Right.
90% of them is it's just different like words or names for Jesus, or like HHS is like one that you see like a lot in the Vatican and stuff, and that's like some kind
Uh-huh.
of like Hebrew shortening of the word for Jesus or something too. Like
Yeah.
it all just means Jesus in like some way, form, or
It's much less complex than you're reading
yeah. It's
into
not a
it.
conspiracy theory. It just means Jesus. And I like read this whole thing. It was like a whole convoluted thing with like a million sources, like referring to like Hebrew. Because yeah, like one of the texts, like the earliest is called like Agorgoric or something like that. I had to learn a little bit about that. I was like, Agorgoric. But anyway, sorry.
It No, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, that sums up my feelings about Simon the Stylite of like, you can look a lot into this and you can make a lot of, maybe he just really felt called to it. But at the end of the day, like I think he was just a weirdo. I know he's a saint and I know that he built a church and did a lot of good works. But I really don't think that he had to spend all that time on that pillar.
I think he just liked attention. That's my take on it.
I
He's like, no, you
I
guys, I
think it's
hate
weirder than that.
attention. He's
I
like
really think it's
reverse psychology.
but the getting kicked out of a monastery
Yeah.
and because also that's what I would say if I got kicked out. Actually, I was too good at monastery. They sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to know more
All right.
about that. Like, what specifically did he get cut out for?
Yeah, I don't know. And so you see this with it kind of passes on all of these aesthetics that really like renounce everything. Where it was like, he lost his parents young, he had a difficult time with the church, and he decided to go off into the woods on his own.
Yeah.
And like and the famous ones, usually the story's like, and then people started bothering them, So they took their crazy up a step and like moved onto a pillar or moved out into the desert. And then they were really sought after.
Oh yeah.
What real quick, the one of the other groups that around the same time as the Stylites were called the Grazers.
Hmm.
And so Grazers were raw vegans. They believed in
Raw
own
vegan?
raw vegans. Yeah.
Why the raw distinction?
No cooking, no fire.
Oh.
Adam and Eve style. Primitive.
Ooh, that sounds horrible.
Horrible. But also, that feels like one of those crazy diets that you would see on YouTube. Of
Yeah.
like, the original humans didn't use fire and they ran for miles and were muscular.
Oh
And it's
right.
like, yeah, but they had to. As
Right.
soon as they invented fire, they got all up on that.
Yeah.
But like, so the grazers, they were also big on that, like John the Baptist in the desert, like they ate locust and honey. Um,
Oh.
they, but they also were always reliant on people bringing them food.
Right.
They were never real survivalists. It was, look how hard I'm living.
Well, and apparently, I mean, if he can fast for that long too, it's like I can wait another week before someone brings me some bread if I have to.
Well, okay, on that though, like, I don't think even Jesus in the desert didn't do water. I think he had water.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only
So
go
it is like,
like a couple days without water, right? Scientifically, I think it's days, not even a full, or maybe a 5.
and again, I don't want to like analyze someone from 1500 years ago, but like, I don't know, man. If you're like, oh, you know how Jesus went without food for 40 days? I'm gonna do no food or water.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you don't have to one up Jesus. You can, you know, that's enough.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right. So that's stylites for us.
Okay.
And that's my little thoughts about how crazy they are.
Yeah.
And now we're going to move over to what actually brought this up. So we found this together. Go ahead and run through the pictures. I did include a couple pictures of Romans. So there were a couple. This is a depiction of different creatures on a vase
Hmm.
doing slacklining or tightrope.
Oh. Oh, I didn't
And
even.
I've got another one with a zoom in on the center figure, but
What I'm tripping about is this thing in their hand and each what is in their other hand? Like this looks like a pole or something, but look, it looks like they have like a
yeah,
bundle of like hay or something or cloth or see he has it in his hand there. The heck is that? What the heck?
it may be rope
Oh yeah, look again. Or maybe oh yeah,
or
maybe it's
even
something
a peg.
attached to this maybe?
But so they are using those poles as like balancing. Like if you see a tightrope walker, you know how they have the long pole.
Yeah.
But in theory, you can really use anything as a balancing tool.
Okay.
But I just thought this was really neat. And then this next picture here is the reason that we uh, are talking about this. Me and you ran in to the story of Robert Cadman,
Oh
and
yeah.
so this is a wood block,
Is
and
Robert
there's a
Cadman
lot of
that's the guy that was tried to slackline from the Eiffel Tower, right?
so it was St. Mary's Tower, I believe. But if you look up in the top right,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe
Oh, right
the
here.
are to the left, to the right of the building in the center,
Oh, right here.
to the right of the horse, up above those.
Oh, up
See, it's a
here.
big wood block print, lots of people. Oh, you're almost there. There you go. No, to the right. You don't see the little guy in there?
Yeah, this guy.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, this is a wood block from the 1770s, around the same time that the craze of rope sliding was going on.
What? It was a craze?
It was a craze. It was an interesting time. We have these records because the 1740s, there was more mass media, there was more attention given to these kind of, small common folk acts. Um, and what's interesting too, if you look on the left of the building, you'll see a performer on a rope.
Right. This guy's like putting
So,
on a show for the crowd.
so slacklining, funambulism, these are old, kind of established circus traditions.
Look at this guy's like standing over the horn player. That's kind of funny. See that the horn
These
player's
woodcuts
through
are
his
pretty
is like through his legs playing the horn. He's like teabagging
fun.
him.
And you see the woman on the left that's actually falling out of the balcony.
Yeah. Yeah, the
A lot of fun,
cool.
kind of a Where's Walt. There's also a tiny dog man on the bottom left that I thought was weird.
Oh, yeah, that is. Oh, and bagpipes, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
weird.
last
He's
one,
like getting them. It's like a monkey. He's making them dance.
yeah. And on the right, I think that's a puppet show. And if you look
Oh,
on the man's back, it looks like a hurdy-gurdy.
oh
Which, have you
yeah,
seen those? Yeah.
yeah. It's got like it's kind of like what's the one where you put your
Yeah,
hands
it's got accordion
accordion?
keys, but it's got like violin strings inside.
Yeah, you use it on in Sea of Thieves, the video game. That's one of the instruments you can have
Yeah.
as the crew. That's how I know about it.
But yeah, and I think they're putting on a puppet show, so I think they've got their arms through in there.
Yeah. Look,
But yeah, very,
this guy does not like the puppet show. Look at that guy's face. He is upset about the
the
puppets.
sword drawn.
Man, he is super
Well,
offended.
oh, and look at the guys on the left of them that are a little freaked out by it. They're saying, "Oh my, grab me by the waist, William. I'm terrified."
Protect me, good sir.
But yeah, so what we're seeing up top is what I know, what I've managed to glean is there's two types of tricks that he would do.
Hmm.
So one of these is you tie the rope to one single high tower, and you jump off and swing across, kind of a
Mm.
Tarzan swing.
Right, okay.
And then the other version of that is more like a zip line. And so in that, they tie a rope to one high tower, run over to the other, tie it up there, and slide across. And so that's what we found from the Wikipedia article. What we didn't see that I found on a really cool blog called A Stranger in Your Country,
Mm-hmm.
I found a little more about it. So when he performed this trick, his most famous one, I believe it was at St. Mary's Church, traveling a distance of about 200 feet from one spire to another.
Mm-hmm.
He had a specially made wooden breastplate with a center groove in it so that it
Mm.
fit into the rope. And then he used his arms and his legs to balance as he slid across.
Oh, that's cool.
So he would slide across and then he would climb back across, performing tricks over the span. This is what I read at least, over the span of an hour.
Holy cow.
I could not imagine the strength it takes to hang for an hour at a time.
Yeah. And to pull yourself back up the rope too, it's crazy
Yes.
in itself, let alone doing tricks while you're doing it. Huh.
And then be rested enough to do it a second time.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez.
Robert Cadman's eventual death and it doesn't quite specify, but I believe it was a rope swinging incident like this.
Okay.
And the story goes that he told his rigger, the person in charge of the rope up top, to loosen the rope, and the person misinterpreted the hand signal or whatever and tightened the rope instead.
Mm.
And so at his death, they put a little memorial,
Mm.
and I want to read that to you.
Okay.
Let this small monument record the name of Cadman, and to future time proclaim how by an attempt to fly from this high spire, across the Sabrine stream he did acquire his fatal end. 'Twas not for want of skill, or courage to perform the task he fell. No, no, a faulty cord being drawn too tight, hurried his soul on high to take her, which bid the body here beneath good night.
Yes.
Which feels a little silly sing-songy to me.
Yeah.
Uh, but I do love of like, if I died doing something dangerous, I would love for my monument to be like, he didn't mess up. The rope broke.
Right. At
But
least
I
they gave
thought it
him
was
that much.
interesting. And so the way that he made money is so his wife would um, basically have a hat out and collect tips for the performance.
Oh, okay.
Um, but he also, a form of tips was getting invited to dinner,
Mm.
which I mean is kind of cool. Like, we don't have to cook, you're gonna cook for us, and the person inviting them gets all these crazy stories.
Yeah.
So I mean that's pretty crazy. I couldn't imagine the 1700s seeing somebody essentially free climb up a tower and zip line across.
He's like a carnival worker.
It was very much kind of like a carnival thing, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
Coming to your town to put on a spectacle. That's
Now
awesome.
that's a spectacle. What I had to find somewhere else. So when you see something cool, there's going to be imitators, right?
Right.
Well, how do you one
Imitation's
up?
the biggest form of flattery.
Of course. So now, how do you one up somebody sliding across a rope like that? That's pretty impressive.
Hmm. Uh, Parachuting or flying.
You gotta up the stakes. What if it wasn't a man, but a donkey?
What? That's
What
animal
is it?
cruelty. They
On
taught a
the
donkey
14th
to.
of December, 1733, they did not teach a donkey. They did not teach the donkey anything.
They just tried to
What
make
they
it
did,
slackline.
they, so I'm assuming that there was a platform involved. But what I'm told or what I read was that they attached weights to the donkey's legs to balance it.
What? That doesn't even make sense.
The person doing this stunt was only described as a vagrant.
So wait, he
He had
rode
a
the donkey down the line?
no, he didn't ride the donkey. That's dangerous. That could be dangerous.
So wait, what did they do?
I'm not riding a donkey.
They just sent the donkey down the line though with like his legs dangled on either side of
Yeah,
the thing?
they, yeah, they were gonna zip line a donkey.
Yeah, no,
What aren't you getting about this?
that doesn't work. How did that end? Did the donkey
Well,
die?
you, you know what? Did it say if the donkey died?
That's like when a
So
if pigs fly situation right there. Someone was like, if donkeys fly, I'll do it. Oh, have I got the act for you, actually?
the the first half of the descent appeared that the donkey was just plummeting.
Oh, God.
The donkey whizzed down the final hair racing stretch, and 20 meters short, the rope attached to the All Saints spire snapped.
Oh.
By this point, the animal was moving at terrific speed. One woman was killed on the spot, and several were injured.
Holy, so it
Could you?
fell into the crowd and killed people? Dude, it was like a NASCAR wreck.
Well, it's a
Holy.
donkey with weights on it sliding down the main street. Of course, it's gonna
Dude.
hit people.
What do
And of
those
course, if you're under
people's
it,
epitaphs say? Killed by a jackass?
killed by a flying jackass.
Oh my god. A weighted jackass. That's insane way to die.
Newcastle upon Tyne, December 14th. This day, 7 days previously, the flying man flew from the castle into Bailey Gate, and after that he made an ass fly down, by which several accidents happened through the carelessness of people not getting out of the way, though a very great and timely warning was given. For the weights tied to the ass's legs knocked down several, bruised other in a violent manner, and killed a girl on the spot.
Wow. Like, it's not our
And
fault, though. They had plenty of warning.
we said, "Watch out!
Right.
Move! Donkey!"
That's
So
a
between
story
the
as old as time, then. That's been happening a lot lately with other countries. Well, we told them we were going to bomb that area, so, I mean, if anyone gets blown up, that's their fault, because we told them we were going to do it, guys. Come on.
we gave the warning.
They shouldn't have been there.
So
Is that the rules at a golf course,
unsurprisingly,
too? If they say 4 and you hear it and then the ball hits you, are they not liable?
it's your fault. It's your fault. So, unsurprisingly, between Robert Cadman's death and the ass incident, the flying men, the rope sliders, fell out of favor.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say it was like banned by royal decree or something.
No,
People were just
it
like,
was just
no.
not a vibe.
Yeah, they're like, this is too
These
dangerous. People like want to like, wait, you can die from this?
Yeah, and like, I don't want just anybody deciding that they're a rope slider all of a sudden.
Oh,
It was
right.
fine when it was a handful of like quote unquote professionals. It wasn't fun when it was randos.
Yeah. That probably scarred that whole town though. After like the donkey incident, they're like, yeah, no more slackline. We're not doing that anymore. That is not cool.
And also, you're working on tips, so like, it's like,
Mm.
oh yeah, don't go to that town. They're not into it anymore.
Yeah. How do you?
And
I
so
wonder.
that
I'd like to know what someone pivots from if you do that for like a living for like 20 years, and then all of a sudden you have to pick something new.
man, that is actually a great topic. Because we're gonna move on to Alvin Shipwreck Kelly.
Uh-oh, that's not a
So,
good nickname to have.
so he gave himself the nickname. He would say that he was on the Titanic, which people are pretty sure isn't true. But
Yeah.
he would say like, I've been in 3 shipwrecks, 2 plane crashes, a motorcycle crash. And it's one
Hmm.
of those of like, maybe that was a brag back then, but nowadays it's like, oh, are you just bad at driving?
Yeah, that's
Or
what
are
I
you
was
just
thinking. It's like your insurance must be through the roof. Tell me your insurance canceled you without telling me your insurance canceled you. Is that what you're doing right now?
so but he was a pilot. He was
Oh.
in the Naval Reserves during World War I. He did stunts. He was a stunt double in Hollywood for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so he got his start at a young age, at like 10 years old. He did human fly tricks.
Hmm.
So if I said somebody was like Spider-Manning up a building, would you know what I was meaning?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. like rock
Okay, so
climbing up.
before Spider-Man, yeah, like scaling a building
Yeah, but
freehand.
but
Human fly, yeah,
human.
it was a thing. People used to say it a lot more.
That's like before Spider-Man human flies scaling up a building?
Yeah.
Okay, because yeah, I guess flies can. Okay, I was trying to think. I was like human fly, human fly.
Yeah, it was popular
It
back
was not. It
then.
was not connect. I was not connecting the dots on that. It's like why not like Ant-Man or something? You know,
Yeah,
ants can climb too, and they don't have wings and can just fucking fly. That's why I wasn't
you
connecting the
know,
dots on it.
yeah, naming conventions just weren't as catchy back then.
Yeah,
But so he was a human fly, and a pole sitter at a young age.
a pulsar. Okay.
He liked climbing stuff. He performed tricks. He liked getting the attention. Um,
So what's a
his
pole sitter?
so a pole sitter is exactly what it sounds like. He climbs a pole and on it. If you want to pull up not the next image, but
Okay.
the image after that,
He sits, he just climbs it and sits on it. Okay. I
I
could do
mean,
that too.
well, I don't believe you.
Oh, well,
Oh,
this is the
one
next
last
one.
image
Yeah.
of Robert Cadman,
It's
the
funny.
Icarus of rope.
It's like an enhancement of the same picture. See that? Look, it's just it in color. See, it
Well, I
even
mean,
has
it.
the. That's cool.
I don't understand the horse, but like I would assume
We'll
that because
see.
it should be the same church tower.
This is like a reenactment of the Trojan horse.
Trojan War.
Yeah, I don't know why they're showing it, but yeah, that's a trick. Cause see, it's on wheels and the soldiers are coming out of it,
Yeah, I I did not even notice that.
and it says something.
The Siege of Troy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, look at this one though. What's up with this one? Why is this guy getting wheeled into a crocodile's mouth? You see that? Or that's a dragon breathing fire, and this guy's like a fat guy's like pushing a witch into a fire breathing
Interesting.
dragon. And this is like Adam and Eve getting tempted by the snake right here. And then yeah, right below that is I swear that looks like a clown or something. A fat clown pushing like a witch into a
Well,
fire
I mean,
breathing.
that feels pretty jokey. Humor in the 1750s,
Oh, and
you
this
know.
guy's wearing a horse. It's a man in a horse costume thing.
They love that little horsey costume. That's like a big staple.
This guy's like dressed up as the Pope. Teabagging. Okay, sorry. So yeah. Oh, Shipwreck Kelly. What?
Sure. So this was one of his favorite stunts too. Is he promoted like
Holy.
National Donut Day. So he like stayed up on a narrow perch like that all day, and he ate 12 donuts.
What? Is he standing on his head in this?
Yes, that was also a trick that he would do it while standing on his head.
Dude. Oh, and I see. And so this guy's gonna like feed him a
And
donut. That's
and he dunks
sick.
the donut,
Yeah, it
which
looks
like
like
was
coffee.
a popular thing. Yeah,
And that looks
like
like, I guess,
a
water
trend.
and coffee.
That was a trend that was catching on. It was trendy to dunk your donuts.
Dude, that is
Um,
crazy. I've never seen that picture ever. That's so
but, th-
cool.
but then go ahead and clip to the next one. This
Okay.
was more of what he was known for.
Oh, this is the pole sitting.
That's the pole.
That is just so weird to me.
50th hour. How long do you
Why?
think you could sit on the
Why?
pole?
Man,
How long?
dude, okay. So, for reference, this is a really great time for you to ask. Dude, I could only sit in a chair for 3 hours before my ass fell asleep and I wanted to fucking leave. Because my ass from just sitting in a padded chair that had cushion, I could barely stand. It's like, man, this sucks. I can't imagine sitting for 50 freaking hours on a pole. That is got.
Yeah, but
I couldn't make it more than. I would say 2 hours maybe is like a
yeah.
really. I probably wouldn't make it that far, but that's like I think if I really tried, maybe 2 or 3 hours, and that's about it.
You couldn't cut
50
it from back in the day. Back when men were
back
men,
when men were men, dude.
cushions didn't exist, and everybody had an ass on
Dude,
their back.
imagine that though. It's like you go to the, oh, you think you're fucking tough, dude? You think you're how many hours can you sit on a pole, huh? Oh, tell me
Uh,
that.
I don't, I don't know.
I did 50 yesterday. Hmm? Think you're cool?
Uh, I guess I'll climb a pole and see how
Yeah.
long I can sit up there.
Yeah.
I'll see you in
Before you
52
want to
hours.
tussle with me, go sit on a pole and see how long you can make it.
You be back here in 72 hours.
Yeah. Then we can run the ones, buddy. That's
So
great. 8 stories
he
though.
also the stories. So and he'd also did stuff like he would shave, he'd brush his teeth, read the newspaper. Um,
Oh yeah, the wife of the stuntman is shown hoisting a newspaper up to him so he can read the latest about Lindbergh and himself. Ugh, that's hilarious. I don't understand. Oh, I see. They have a rope and pulley system. Okay.
yeah. And so he did all sorts of versions of this too. He did this on a moving plane.
Cool. I think I've seen a
Um,
picture of that before.
so
Or maybe, I don't know. I think I might have seen, it might have just been other people have probably imitated him a lot over the years too.
I would assume so. Um, I believe that he was kind of the biggest of this time doing this trick.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, on a plane is a lot more impressive to me than just doing it on the ground. Like that I would go see. I wouldn't go travel to see a guy 8 stories up on a pole. I'd be like, oh yeah.
well, you don't have to because he once had a tour where he traveled to 28.
Oh, your mic's cutting out again. He did what?
He had a tour where he traveled to 28 cities.
What? He went on a 28 city tour? That's awesome.
D- doesn't that just seem like too many people?
I just
Like I'm
I really
impressed.
don't see the appeal. I mean, really, it just really goes to show you, dude, that it's just like, man, he probably went to a bunch of towns where they just didn't have a lot going on, man. Like, for real.
I really think this is what it was, and a lot of it too was companies would hire him as a promotion to
Mm.
13 days of sales. Shipwreck Kelly is gonna sit on the pole for 13 days.
Ah, right. Okay.
Let's see. I believe that his longest time period was 49 days. Yeah, 49 days in 1 hour.
Well, and it is a testament to humanity too, where it's like people are drawn to things that they don't understand too. So people might want to go and like ask the guy questions and stuff too.
Well, yeah.
Curiosity is a thing.
I mean, he is called a modern day stylite. Um, and I think that that's interesting too. That like there I don't know. There's just something about it. Somebody doing something so fundamentally different.
Yeah.
It's like I would never stand that long. You're sitting in such a weird way. I gotta come check it out.
So interesting thing. And it's like, well, and I swear it's like this guy's like, we got to think of a way to make money. Okay, I want to be an entertainer. How can I bring a spectacle to a city, and not have to like carry around like a whole stage or like have like animals or, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
because
make
he
an
wasn't
8 foot
living.
pole that I can just disassemble and assemble and set it up in the middle of town. And I'm gonna sit up there and I'm like brush my teeth and wash and braid my hair and read the newspaper. And that's what I'm gonna do. That's genius. We're gonna run with that. Let's go to this town and try it out. Maybe he went to the first place and it was just such a hit that he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do this for a living now. This is what I'm gonna be known for. This is cool.
Yeah. Um, but then so he gets pretty famous for this. Um, but then in the 30s, the stock market crash happens in 1929.
Mm,
People don't have as much money to hand out to pole sitting.
yeah.
Everybody's losing their job. The pole sitting economy is getting pretty hit hard.
Right.
and it gets to the point too where police don't like the public disruption.
Mm,
You know, they're like, you don't have a permit. We don't like solicitors, panhandlers. You need
right.
to move it on.
Oh, you don't have an actual
Uh,
house that you live in here? You need to keep
yeah,
it moving then. You're a
you're not
vagrant.
even from here. Yeah,
Right. You
and
want
it's like,
money
well,
from
no,
us?
I've got money at home. It's like, all right, well, you go home.
Yeah.
Um, so through all of this, off and on, he works a little while as a gigolo.
Oh, okay.
And something that I'd never heard of, he
Was that
worked
legal in the
at,
20s? Was that just a legal
so, okay,
thing?
he worked at a dime a dance hall. Have you ever heard of anything like this?
Dime a dance hall. No, but I mean, I'm kind of putting two and two together here.
Well, it was full on actual, just like you would pay a dime, you would go to a dance hall, you would pay a dime, and they would have girls
They would have girls there to what? Your mic cut out.
dance with you.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure you said, but like when it cut out, I was like, what with you?
Yeah, no, let's be very clear. So
It
this
was just dancing.
just dancing,
What
and
kind of
it was
dancing?
I'm not sure. I'm
Like, were
gonna
they square
imagine that
dancing in the 20s? Is that?
man, I'm gonna imagine that is that like crazy Charleston swing dancing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Just because it's more fun for me, I'm imagining like they're slinging people around,
One,
splits. It's
that's like
crazy.
something that it's like, okay, yeah, you have to pay a dime too, because it's like, you don't want like people showing up that don't know how to do the swing dance, right? It's like they pay a dime. It's like, okay, well, you're going into it kind of with the fact knowing that he kind of knows what he's doing ahead of time.
Right. Right. It's like you know, pl- paying to go play at the tennis club instead of just heading down to like your local park.
Right, to the YMCA or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you or like a club, golfing club.
Exactly. It's like, I play with my people. I don't just go randos.
Right.
And, well, and also too, it's like it was something to do of you're paying for the music and the band and everything.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to pay for the band too. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But and so there were
Dime a
males
dance.
and females. It was mostly women, but there were guys too.
It reminds me of is that a iteration of dime a dozen? Is that where that comes from? If like a woman is like, well, girl, you're a dime a dozen. I could dance with any other girl in here for a dime.
I kind of wouldn't doubt it. I feel like that's right at the time when that would be coming out.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's a lie that I could have
So
sold to you if I had been more prepared. Yeah, did you know that that's where a dime a dozen comes from?
should have been ready with it.
Next time, I'm learning. I'm taking notes. I'm adapting. I'll get better.
So what I thought was interesting too is he was in his like 40s or 50s when World War II broke out.
Okay.
So he was a naval reserve for World War One. In World War II, he joined the Merchant Marines.
The merchant marine.
Yeah, so it's like
Why do the? It's a weird merchant. Does that just mean they're on a ship? Marines
pretty much.
that are
So
stationed off of a ship.
Merchant Marines are generally stationed on like shipping vessels and stuff.
Yeah.
But they can be stationed on like it doesn't have to be government supplies. It could be commercial shipping that's important.
Oh. Ah.
It's like,
Okay.
it's a shipment of mangoes from, the fruit company, but the war would go better if the soldiers get citrus in, the
Okay.
UK.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I was just curious about that distinction and the merchant part before the marine.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on all the specifications. My understanding is y- almost a
Oh,
semi-private organization.
yeah, no, I liked
Kind
your
of.
explanation that you gave already, though. I thought that made sense to
Um,
me.
But so whenever Kelly got back, whether it was 43, 44, he keeps trying to do more jobs. He still is employed here and there. Um, but in 1952, he actually gets his last job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he he's getting sponsored by the Lions Club. He climbs up on his pole. He has to come down 2 times for 2 heart attacks. After the second heart attack and he comes down, they don't let him go back up on the pole.
Holy cow, he was prepared to keep going?
Yeah, he was ready.
Wow.
Shipwreck Kelly isn't afraid of a couple heart
I can't
attacks.
believe he just had heart attacks and just kept going, too.
Well, he came down, which is also like, dang, another heart attack. Let me
Yeah.
go down for a second. Let me really
He's
spasm
like,
it out,
oh,
and
my
then I'll
heart's
hop back
having one of
up.
them cramps again. Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Well, and also too, like, okay, do we not let him? Oh, he's already climbing back up. Okay, but if he has a second heart attack, we're calling it, right, guys?
Like, Kelly. Okay, we trust that you can do it, brother. Just call it quits, man. Come on. You're gonna ruin the whole party. Which again, he just
Yeah, it
ruins
really is gonna
ruins
ruin
the
the vibe.
archetype even more for future pole-sitting generations, man. He's ruining it for everybody.
Um,
So we can't have nice
so
things.
he once said that he probably spent about 20,000 hours sitting on flagpoles. Um, Another little interesting tidbit was, so when he would spend these, days, a month plus on a pole, how he would do it was sometimes he would put a leg strap on, strap one of his legs to the pole, and sometimes he would insert his thumbs into the seat below him. And he said when he started dozing off, he would feel the pain in his thumbs and his body would adjust without him having to wake up.
What? That's crazy.
It's just like, were you just in like a zombie state for 49 days? Just no sleep?
Yeah, like
He often
why?
he often said that like he mainly subsisted on coffee and cigarettes when
Well,
he was up on the pole
it's weird
because you don't
because
want to poop.
I mean, at least Simon had like religious beliefs behind why he was doing it. This guy was just doing it because he was just like you said. He was like had some again. He just had a serious like mental disorder. He's like, no, I'm just gonna sit on a pole for 50 days or 50 hours. Like what? Like what? It's not even for faith reasons. Why is this guy? He's like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. I just put my thumbs in the seat and I shift over if it hurts. Like, but why? Why would you do that? That's insane.
It's insane. It is literally insane.
That's great. What's
And
like
I understand
Kelly?
if you're a stuntman performer, but the money can't be that good to not do something else.
Especially when with a reputation like Shipwreck Kelly.
No, he wanted shipwreck. He
Yeah,
liked it.
yeah. But it's like if you're scared to go somewhere because you're like, well, I don't know if I want to go see the guy on the flagpole. It might traumatize me if he fell off. And then, and then the guy's, well, no, it's old Shipwreck Kelly. He ain't gonna fall. It's like, wait, who, Kelly? I don't trust that
So,
guy.
something he said too was he said like I take less risk than a window cleaner. And I'm bringing this up because it's on his Wikipedia.
Well, window cleaners get
Um,
paid to do that.
yeah, you're doing this for tips.
Yeah. And they
An
don't sleep
invite
up there, you
for a window.
weirdo.
Yeah, that too. They don't live up there. They go home. They
Yeah.
get to come down.
They're like working 8 hours tops, brother. 50 is insane.
So I just got to throw this in there. This is unrelated, but it was on his Wikipedia. So his son served in World War II, um, and eventually bounced around as a laborer. but got a job at the circus and
Oh
was
yeah.
killed by an elephant.
Oh no. That's a bad way to
Yeah,
go.
it's a bad way to go. But I sorry to throw that in, but um, so Kelly often said that he didn't take any risks than a window cleaner.
Hmm.
After his last job, about a week after he had those two heart, he was walking back to his house. He crossed the road in front of his house and got hit by a car.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
20,000 hours on a flagpole, hit by a car in front of his house.
Yep. He'd have been safer on the
When they
pole.
when they found him, they found a duffel bag still packed with ropes and gear in case he got another job,
Oh,
and a scrapbook with all of his accomplishments in it, titled "The Luckiest Fool on Earth."
what? Oh, that gave me goosebumps.
What a what a life.
That kind of sounds like he planned that ending.
You know, I I almost could believe it. They said at the time of his death, grizzled old man, penniless and all but forgotten.
Yeah. He made his own scrapbook.
Well, I mean, he was in newspapers. He really
Yeah.
had a. He wasn't just some average Joe that was like, and this is the one time I got a car or something.
Man,
No,
we
he
need to
had,
find that scrapbook now.
he had achievements. I think he wrote a book as well, or there was a book written about him.
Yeah.
I don't think it's still published or was published very long after his death.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's so interesting because I feel like there's that same attitude for these people that choose to do unique and strange things. And then go ahead and did I include that very last image? Is
Uh,
that
oh, yeah, you did, but I pulled it up incorrectly. Somehow I hit the wrong button and I had opened it up differently.
oh,
But yeah,
I've got
there
to
we go.
format the sizes on
This is
there.
the one you're talking
But
about, right?
yeah. So that's him with a bottle of rum and a newspaper, living his best life.
Oh, that's what that is. That's awesome. I assumed it was like milk or something. That's even great. He's like, no, I'm up here drinking straight alcohol, brother.
But I think it's really interesting that, you know, there's always been these weird people who do different things, and there's always been this fascination around them.
Yeah. Oh, oops.
So that's my little talk today about stylites, steeplejacks, and pole sitters.
That was good.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody. This has been
The Brian
and Mason
podcast.
podcast. We nailed
Podcast.
it.
Yeah, perfect.
No, no, you threw another podcast in like you weren't confident in the first podcast.